Hello, welcome to Salto del Gato. This is my YouTube channel and this is my gumshoe playlist. Here's where I cast an astrological chart and then let it tell me a story about a horror event question that I ask. The way this works is that I cast an astrological event chart based on horary astrology for the month, day, time, and location that I, the astrologer, was in the moment that the question formed and crystallized in my mind. The question that I asked today was regarding Rudy Farias and his mother, Janie Santana, and whether or not they are telling the truth. This is the story that the chart has told me. We will begin at the first place. The first place is the place of the question. Right here, we see that the sign that is rising is Leo. Leo, of course, is the sign of drama, storytelling, theater. So that's interesting. But the first thing that I want to know is who rules this chart? Well, it's usually for a daytime chart. It's daytime where I'm at. The ruler is always the luminary in the time. In a daytime chart, it's the sun that is closest to the horizon. And so here we have the sun, and it is just risen over the horizon, and it is located in the sign of Cancer. So let's begin there, because the sun is the energy that powers this entire chart. It's the energy source. So how this works is I want you to think or visualize sort of a pyramid structure of cups or wine goblets, and they're stacked one on top of the other, and at the very top, that one is water is being poured into it, and it's overflowing and it's trickling down, filling all of the other cups underneath it. That is how the power source of a chart works. It is the source of the energy that energizes the entire cup, and it trickles down. So here we have the sun. The sun is located in Cancer, so this is a weak placement for the sun. So right away, this tells me that this is weak vitality, and it seeks constant nurturing and protection, and it leads a secret life influenced by the mother. Cancer is the mother. 12th house is the place of secrets. Mother, the energy that the sun is always seeking is the mothering, nurturing, and protective energies of the sign of Cancer. Now, who does the sun first power? The first power that it gives is to Venus and Mercury. Mercury is closest to it, as you can see, so it pours all of its immediate energy right into Mercury and then Venus. And this is important because it is an indicator that the energy here immediately fills the mind, and it has an intellect that is intuitively and instinctively very willing, and it enjoys storytelling. It is an energy that enjoys storytelling. Venus is the planet of love. Venus loves to tell stories here in this particular chart, and it is the essence that powers this. There's like this real instinctive desire to tell stories. Mercury is the planet of communications. Venus is the drama, play, theater, again, feeding into that energy of the Leo rising, and they happen to both be in Leo. So they love to tell dramatic stories. There's a love of drama, and there's an instinct for dramatic storytelling here. Now, Venus then powers both Jupiter and Uranus. Jupiter, the sign of big and expansive tall tales, and Uranus, it is the sign of excitement and eccentric and very involved, ingenious little plots. And they're over here in the 10th house. So that is, they're just It's really great. This chart is really great at telling dramatic little stories. It loves it, and it does it quite well. Now, the next thing that we want to look at here, let's look at Mercury. Mercury pours its energy into the moon and into Mars. Now, Mars is located in the second house, and if you don't know about Hermetic astrology, the second house is not a good house. It always shows, it tells a tale about sudden and unexpected tragic events. So Mars here is in the sign of Virgo, and it likes to, act out in detail the stories it tells. Let's take it from the beginning here. Chart ruler is the sun. The sun is the top cup that's filling and pouring out its energy down below it. And immediately it pours out its energy to Mercury and Venus. Mercury is the mind. It represents communications. It represents words, written and spoken. Venus, the planet of love, the planet of anything that is enjoyable, theatrical, and both of them happen to be in Leo, so that even enhances that energy of an inclination towards drama and storytelling even more. Now, we also have the asteroid Black Lilith, which is that these two are storytellers of deceptive little tales. And because Venus is pouring her energy directly into Jupiter and Uranus, these are really dramatic and exciting and intriguing tall tales. Jupiter's the planet of expansion. Uranus is the planet of things coming out of left field where you least expect them. So these people have this ingenious ability to come up with some really tall tales that are surprising and confusing. Now, that's the next layer of energy that pours out, of course, is to Mercury. And Mercury is fueling the moon and Mars. Mars is in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is a sign that feeds on an energy of detail and tedious, having to keep things, track of things. So these people are always engaged in keeping track of some of the lies that they've told. But unfortunately, they kind of trip up on their own lies, as we're going to see here in a minute. Now, the moon over here loves an audience. And the moon, as we can see, the moon is in the sign of Gemini. Gemini, the moon, first of all, is Mercury is often referred to as the communicator of the chart, but in Hermetic astrology, the moon was the bigger communicator. It represented travel, communications, taking information from one place to the other. In Gemini, here in the 11th house, it seeks an audience, and it tells a lot of continuous stories to this audience, keeps them engaged and fascinated with its Uranian tall tales. And that's what it's doing here. Now, going back over to Venus, who fuels Jupiter. Jupiter is fueling both Saturn and Neptune. Neptune is retrograde, which means there's an energy of repeating stories, kind of retelling them, maybe switching them up just a little every now and then. And Saturn means trouble, trouble ahead. Saturn is the fact checker, and it's going to cause some trouble here, and especially since Saturn is energizing Pluto, and Pluto here says there's trouble here. Lies and deceptions are going to be revealed. Boom, there you have it. So folks, this is a bunch of bull. And to confirm that, let's look at the nodes. So the north node over here in the 9th house is the Mouth of the dragon. So this dragon is feeding on being a victim. Why do we know that? Because look, we have Chiron, the wounded victim healer, who is trying to teach. So this person visualizes themselves teaching or enlightening people somehow in their warped philosophy. They're taking on the role of victim, and they feed off of that. They feed off of that role. And over here in the third house, the house of actually verbalizing these stories, it's the south node, and that's the anus of the dragon. And what this is saying, that this person who feeds on a victim energy poops out a heroic image of themselves to anyone who will listen. So what this story is telling me, that this is a bunch of dragon poop. None of it is real. It's all a lie. And there you have it. Thank you very much for listening. I have already done 2 videos on the backstory to this particular, I don't even know whether to call it a crime. I'll call it a crime of major deception on all of us, because they have played everyone who will listen. That includes their local media, the national media, all of the YouTube sleuthers, and anyone else who will take the time to hear the stories that they have to tell. I look forward to the truth being revealed and the law coming down on the side of justice. And anyone who has been victimized by all of these tall tales that these people have woven, I hope that they find justice. Thank you so much for listening. This is Marilia, your host, signing off.